Starting lineup, Set, Hecarim, Fortune, Tristana, Sona, up against Nasus, Warwick, Fate, Fortune, Olaf. Rating of the picks for a casual game. Set as a top 10. Hecarim in the jungle, 4. Fortune as a mid, 3. Tristana as a shooter, 10. Sona in support, 9. Nasus as a top, 8. Warwick in the jungle, 8. Fate in mid, 4. Fortune as a shooter, 7. Here in this game, we're gonna have this somewhat vulgar French peasant woman playing alongside me, which is to say, rien à foutre. And can you believe it, I end up misspeaking? It's almost like I'm human. We're gonna get this kawaii e-boy Baga holding it down in the bot lane. We have this Warwick with anti-mage items. We have this Set player with an amazing debut. Let's get to it. In the first play, we see the shooter walking in the right direction for a change. Unlike the Caitlyn player, we also get to enjoy watching Tristana play hide and seek. You put down a ward in the first bush and then you're sitting right beside it. It's worth pointing out that this is not how wards are supposed to work. Wards are supposed to do the scouting for you. There's no point in putting them directly beside you because you can already see what is directly beside you. Because you're there. We have this Nasus meeting up with the Set, and you're going to adapt very early and learn that Set peaks much earlier in the game than Nasus does. The quality of Nasus is really siphoning off that health and becoming massive like Mundo, whereas Set is much more of an all-purpose bruiser who can go at any time. Nasus up against Set in the very early game is a considerable mismatch in favor of Set. We're gonna get a little bit of speed date action here between Fortune and Warwick. Not some anime fantasy going on, just stepping out and giving it up. If you want to go on a bunch of speed dates, my French lectures could do you a lot of good, and it's just no use this way. You have no life pool, you have no armor, and Warwick is going to eat that up. We are fortunate enough to receive an education on how not to use summoner spells. So this is what I've been saying for 2 months now ever since I started aggressively using the teleport spell. You should use it on turrets 90% of the time. And this is exactly why. You get this very casual, very groovy, flashy porting in the middle of the lane. Nasus has to pop Ghost right away in order to be able to get out. And that is even against something like Hecarim. If you had a Nocturne there, or a Tryndamere there, or a Kha'Zix there, that might be the end for you and you may not be able to get away. The fact that this can end well is only facilitated by the wild weakness of Hecarim, which, if you are prepared to play Hecarim, you have a lot of balls. Because it's like going up with sticks and stones against guns. This up-close and personal affair with this poor French woman, fortune player, going to swing up and down and around the turret, eventually to come back with a vengeance, as we are under the terms and conditions to learn why I am completely unironically collecting mastery with Olaf in the support role. And it's an unbelievable sight. You would almost come to think that there's a crowd control on my first and third spell. Probably because there is a crowd control on my first and third spell, and we've overtly tested Lux and abandoned that before my entire win-loss ratio goes down the drain. Up top, a spectacle between Warwick and Set, and you get to learn the reason the hard way, why I've consistently been calling Warwick training wheels and given him an 8. As at some point we're hitting the limitations of this hideous mountain, an amalgamation of natural base stats, and like so many other things, Set is going to pound that. We are 10 minutes in and the late game power spike of Nasus still has not hit yet. You cannot benefit from that unnaturally large endgame life pool, and Set has the better brawling spells. We're going to have this French peasant woman in distress in the bottom lane, putting the pressure initially on Tristana, but this Hecarim has ganked before, and I'm gonna pretty much have to pull him off. The French peasant woman eventually responding with the usual autistic lack of gratitude. Over in the middle lane, this fortune player is going to keep pressing her luck and just not playing the in and out game anymore and tanking through all the damage. It's a very fortunate matchup because it is perhaps the only thing that this Twisted Fate player could have beaten. He had a very good game for his standards. We are allowed a kind of Manjushri inspired karmic revenge on the arrogance of this French peasant woman fortune player, as every single time I wander off, he will wildly overestimate her chances. A nihilist might say that if you consistently misportray the contributions of other people, you end up with a disabled framework for yourself in terms of what you can do to figure the situation out, including league mechanics. Taking a look at this Team Blue, getting an understanding of how these champs might fit together, what kind of team synergy is at play. We see Set, Hecarim, Fortune, Tristana. We would have to say a very low B. You have essentially a perfect top and bottom lane, and then all the rest is garbage. Taking a look at this Team Red, we see Nasus, Warwick, Fate, Fortune, Olaf. Considering their team synergy and how well the picks might fit, we would have to say a B. This Nasus player has a fitting personality to tank properly. It's a person with the right mindset. You end up with a potent front line in Nasus, Olaf, and Warwick all being built in a constructive manner with tank items. The most important thing for casual games is therefore really present here. In order to facilitate damage, you have this Fortune and this Fate, which in this case means that your damage output has a handicap on it. Taking a look then at the behavior of these individual players, trying to consider what impact they had and how well they behaved in the journey to defeat or victory. Considering the set, you were a brand new player, your team loved you, you had the second best KDA on your team, you used Stride Breaker boots and very unconventional tank items. I would have to give this guy a B. It's very uplifting to see that you've had a massive impact on this game as a pure beginner. You consistently concerned yourself with the objective. You made an excellent pick. It's close to an A, but we can't start throwing those around. Considering this Hecarim player, you used very unconventional items, which at the very least means that you're thinking for yourself. You seem to have a lot of brain cells active at the same time. You went with Yuntal and the Collector. You got boots, but you didn't splurge on them. You also went with Immortal Shield Bow. You went 4-1-1 with a KDA of 5. I would have to give this guy an A. You explored a very weak champion in a casual game, and you had the brain cells to compensate for his atrocious damage dealing by giving him marksman items. I think that is very smart, and as good as you can make Hecarim look. You definitely took me off guard. It's a person with a passion for League, and you're playing very hard. We get this I reveal her individual, going with Yomu and Boots of Swiftness. You ended up going 2-9 with Fortune in the mid lane. You also ended up testing out the little blue ward thing or the little blue grenade. Don't know what that did for you. You had an awful pick in the mid lane. You showed no concern whatsoever. You played in many ways the most crucial position as a mid laner, and you almost screwed it up intentionally. I would have to give you a C. You're essentially taking your team hostage, and there is no way that anybody could win with you on their neck dragging them down. A little bit of a team wrecker. We take a look at this kawaii e-boy Baga, which it's worth pointing out, the phonetical spelling of Bagayero in Japanese is really with a G. You misspelled it here with a K. You went 1-8. You got Yunto and Infinity Edge. I would have to give this player a B. You had an excellent pick and you didn't abandon your position, but you have no skill whatsoever, which I guess is acceptable in the casuals. We have the Sona player with the Japanese name done the right way, going 0-9-0. You ended up overthinking your item strategy, going with a bunch of niche AP items at a low price. It is fair to say that your item choices were some of the worst that you could have possibly ever made, and definitely the worst item choices of anybody in this game. You could have easily given yourself armor when you're dying 9 times straight. You could have at least given yourself a shovel of some kind, like Bloodthirster, in order to push lanes, but you didn't create a circus, and it is admirable that you're actually trying to help people with a healer like Sona. So we will say a B, a very low B. We have this NASA's Ghost player who was very kind to me. The best thing about this NASA's player is that his personality worked very well with tanking on NASA's. You went 3-3-5. You were active in every lane. I will say an A here, because you could definitely have helped many teams to victory with the attitude that you had. We have this Warwick individual going 6-4-6. More on these item choices later. You made a contribution and you didn't complain. You seem to be slightly inebriated, or at least had some kind of weird, loosey-goosey behavior that you don't see from many people. You did very little for the jungle objectives. I would say a low B. We have this Joel Miller hubby person. Yet another one of these people building Twisted Fate as a kind of all-out offensive spellblade with marksman items and AP items, going 4-3. We were very fortunate to have this person matched up against this dysfunctional Fortune player. It's really the mystery of the mid lane. For whatever reason, when I play jungle or support, we win way more games. even though that is entirely illogical because you see time and time again, such as here, of course, and just like in the last game, of course. Think about the last 4 mid laners we've had now. This Twisted Fate player, who can barely hold his own against a completely dysfunctional Fortune player with as low a life pool as you can possibly imagine. All these people, by the way, being built with all-out fanatical movement speed, pouring over 2,000 gold into movement speed each, which, yeah guys, Faker doesn't need that kind of movement speed, but you do, of course. Your movements and your speed is that important that you should definitely pour all of your cash into that. Then in the other game we have had Azir, the most impossible to play mage, and then we had Ashe, the most fragile marksman. And these have been your mid laners. And yet somehow, when I play Lux and we go 12-3, we lose every game in the mid lane. One of the bigger mysteries of my life. Back to this Twisted Fate player, I'll give him a B, because I want to avoid giving people who are not hyper toxic a C, because then we're going to get a meaningless score system. We have this Muffian, French peasant woman, going 9-2. The conventional Bloodthirster, Berserker Greaves, and Collector. For some reason this became a thing on the internet. Is this ideal? No. Is it good? Yeah, it's pretty good. You seem to be here entirely against your will and brought all that lovely feminine toxicity into this game. I have literally no idea what you get out of being here. I've told the story many times before. I was forced to group up in real life with women the entire time in my childhood and my life up to now. I have never run into a woman who was deeply into competitive video games. Zero, nada, over all those years combined. I am an opinion and review channel for the League community. I will not pretend not to notice the bizarre nature of these kinds of women entering this kind of space and then acting as though somebody else is taking them hostage and making them play League on command. Go ahead and show me one of these individuals that had any signs of being involved or had a good time. Every single one of these people behaves like they're here against their own will. And does that matter for the nature of your contributions in the game? It absolutely matters whether you make the entire team a toxic mess or not. I would say a B. A kind of quiet, angry rage building here the entire time. Could definitely cut the tension with a knife between me and this person, which is definitely dragging my performance down. Overall, you'd have to say a 9-0-7 game with a 16 KDA. Yeah, Olaf in support doesn't work, and Olaf as a laner in general doesn't work, but so far we've been going 12-2, mysteriously enough. Why was this game a breeze? Very simple. Nasus, Warwick, and Olaf all have naturally high defenses, and these 3 men were of a mind to slap armor on top of their beefy champion. That is the entire story behind this game. If you can stay alive and are somewhat constructive, then you will win in the casuals almost every time. It is very unusual to have a solid front line like this. And it is definitely in the top 2 most important things in low elo. What is the mistake on this particular team? You didn't have a good way to facilitate extra damage. In particular, this Warwick and this Twisted Fate had an illogical way of approaching damage dealing. Ideally, you would want to educate this Warwick on a few constructive weapons, and you would want to replace this Twisted Fate player with a sustainable RE player, or perhaps a Vex player with a bit of health. That would make it an easy all-around A. We earned an S+ on this game. The moment is steadily approaching that we're going to have enough mastery to feel comfortable in the high-intensity ranked games. Taking a look at the scoreboard, when your primary purpose is to remain alive until deep endgame and to build up a bunch of life gradually, and you know that you are inherently bound to be a pure tank, you want to put on Thornmail here as a first item. If you pick something like Heartsteel that was intended to supply life to an already thriving champion with defenses that were already great, you will end up expending money to fill up a tank that has not been armored yet. It's important from time to time to also look at the enemy team. As Warwick here, you're going Spirit's Visage. That is a great Warwick item, but you're going up against AD, and a healer. So you're throwing 2,700 gold here at an item that is built to protect you from spellcasters and AP damage, and you're going up against 0 AP champions. That is just the destruction of 2,700 gold. Moving on.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
To plunder.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
To action!
Minions have spawned. First blood.
Urge to kill rising. might of Lockvar approaches.
An ally has been slain.
To plunder.
An ally has been slain.
Might of Lockvar approaches. Urge to kill. Faster to battle.
An enemy has been slain.
I'm going. Plunder.
An ally has been
Obliteration.
slain. An enemy.
The might of
An
Lockvar.
enemy has been slain.
Jump, jump. To action!
An ally has been slain. Shut down.
To plunder. To action!
slain.
The might of Lokvar approaches. To plunder. Some fun!
Turret plating will soon fall. An enemy has been slain.
The might of Lokvar approaches.
Enemy killing spree.
I'm going. Urge to kill rising.
Now we're cooking. The might of Lokvar approaches. Double time.
Plunder.
Double kill.
Rising. To action!
slain.
The might of Lockbar approaches.
Has destroyed the turret.
I'm going. To plunder. To action!
Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down.
Urge to kill rise.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
The might of Lockbar approaches.
An ally has been slain.
I'm going.
An enemy has been slain.
To plunder. To action!
An ally has been slain.
Urge to kill rising.
An enemy has been slain.
Faster to battle.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Lockbar approaches.
Your turret has been destroyed.
might of
An enemy has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Obliteration! To action!
Double kill.
Urge to kill rising.
An enemy has been slain.
To plunder.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Your team has destroyed a turret.
The might of Lockbar approaches.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.